What if I told you that right now, today, there are solo entrepreneurs running 6- and 7-figure businesses almost entirely on autopilot? And the secret weapon they're using isn't some expensive enterprise software or a team of developers. It's a free open source tool that most people have never even heard of. So here's my question for you. What would you do with an extra 20, 30, maybe even 40 hours back in your week? Because that's exactly what's possible when you automate your entire business with n8n in just 30 days. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, this is where we talk about building smarter, leaner, more profitable businesses using the tools that actually work. And today I am genuinely excited because we are going deep on n8n, which I believe is the single most powerful automation platform available right now. And almost nobody in the mainstream business world is talking about it. Here's what we're covering today. First, I'm going to break down exactly what n8n is and how to get your foundation set up in the first 10 days, including 3 specific automations you can build on day 1. Then, we're going to look at how to automate your customer journey and your entire sales process in days 11 through 20. And I'll show you real examples from real business. And finally, we're going to get into advanced strategies for days 21 through 30, where you start stacking automations together and we talk about actual numbers, actual time savings, actual revenue impact. By the end of this video, you are going to have a complete 30-day roadmap to automating your business with n8n. This is not theory. This is a practical step-by-step guide. So if you've been overwhelmed by automation before, if you've tried Zapier or Make and felt like you were always hitting a wall or always hitting a paywall, stick with me because this is going to change everything. Let's get into it. All right. Days 1 through 10. This is your foundation phase, and I want to start by making sure we're all on the same page about what n8n actually is, because this matters a lot for how you approach learning it. n8n is a workflow automation tool. Think of it like a visual programming environment where you connect different apps and services together using what are called nodes. Each node does one specific thing. Maybe it pulls data from a Google Sheet, or it sends an email, or it posts to Slack, or it creates a record in your CRM. You chain these nodes together, and you have a workflow, or what n8n calls a workflow, that runs automatically whenever a trigger event happens. The big difference between n8n and something like Zapier is that n8n is open source, which means you can self-host it completely free and it doesn't charge you per task. When you're running hundreds of thousands of automations a month, that difference is worth thousands of dollars. Now, tip number 1 for this foundation phase is to start with your highest friction task, not your most exciting idea. I see people make this mistake all the time. They want to build some crazy AI-powered system on day 1, and then they get frustrated and quit. Instead, I want you to spend literally 30 minutes on day 1 writing down every repetitive task you did last week. Every single one. 1. Answering the same email questions, copying data from one spreadsheet to another, posting content to social media, sending follow-up messages, generating invoices. Write them all down, and then circle the one that took the most time and made you want to throw your laptop out the window. That is your first automation. For example, one of my students, a freelance web designer named Marcus, realized he was spending 4 hours every single week manually sending project update emails to clients. Same email, different names, different project detail. His first n8n workflow pulled client data from an article, checked the project status column, and automatically sent personalized update emails every Friday morning. That one automation gave him back over 200 hours in the first year. Tip number 2 is to use n8n's cloud version for your first 2 weeks, even if you plan to self-host later. I know that sounds counterintuitive because I just told you self-hosting is free. But here's the thing. Setting up a self-hosted n8n instance on a VPS server adds a layer of technical complexity that can derail beginners. n8n offers a free cloud trial. Use it. Learn the interface. Build your first 3 or 4 workflows. Get comfortable. Then once you know what you're doing, migrate to self-hosting. The monthly cost of a digital lotion droplet to run n8n is about $5. That's your end goal. But don't let infrastructure set up be the reason you never actually learn a tool. Tip number 3 for your foundation phase is to build what I call the holy trinity of starter automations. These are the 3 workflows that almost every business needs, and that will collectively save you 5 to 8 hours per week right out of the gate. The first one is a lead capture workflow. Whenever someone fills out a form on your website, n8n automatically adds them to your email list, creates a contact in your CRM, sends them a welcome email, and sends you a Slack or email notification. The whole thing takes about 20 minutes to build in n8n. The second starter automation is a content repurposing workflow. You write one piece of content, maybe a blog post, and n8n automatically reformats and posts the bits to Twitter, LinkedIn, and sends a newsletter version to your list. The third one is an invoice and payment workflow. When a client pays an invoice in Stripe, n8n automatically marks the project as paid in your project management tool, sends the client a thank you email, and logs the payment in your accounting spreadsheet. Build these 3 in your first 10 days, and you'll already be a convert. Okay, we're in days 11 through 20 now, and this is where things get really exciting. This is your customer journey phase. We're talking about automating everything that happens from the moment someone discovers your business to the moment they become a paying repeat customer. Now I want to share a case study here because I think real examples are so much more powerful than abstract advice. There's a small e-commerce brand called Brightleaf Organics, about a 2-person team, doing around $800,000 a year in revenue. Before they implemented n8n automations, they had one person whose almost entire job was customer communication, following up on abandoned carts, sending shipping notifications, handling review requests, responding to common support questions. After 30 days of building out their customer journey automations in n8n, that person shifted to working on product development and partnerships instead. Revenue went up 23% in the next quarter because they had more capacity for growth activities. So tip number 1 for this phase is to map your entire customer journey before you build a single workflow. Get a whiteboard or a piece of paper and write out every single touch point a customer has with your business, from first contact to repeat purchase. Every email, every notification, every follow-up, every check-in. Now highlight every single one of those touch points that doesn't require a genuine human decision. Those are your automation opportunities. For most businesses, that's about 70 to 80% of the touch point. Tip number 2 is to build an intelligent lead nurturing sequence. Here's where n8n starts to pull way ahead of simpler tools. In n8n, you can build conditional logic into your automations. So instead of sending everyone the same email sequence, you can say if this lead clicked on the link about pricing, send them the case study email. If they clicked on the link about features, send them the tutorial video email. This kind of behavior-based nurturing is what enterprise companies pay tens of thousands of dollars for in tools like HubSpot. In n8n, you build it yourself with an if node and a switch node, and it costs you nothing extra. A marketing consultant named Sarah implemented this exact approach for her coaching business, and saw her email-to-call booking rate go from 3% to 11% in 6 weeks. Same list, same offer, just smarter sequencing. Tip number 3 in this phase is to automate your customer support with an AI layer. This is genuinely one of the most powerful things you can do right now, and n8n makes it surprisingly accessible. You can connect n8n to OpenAI's API and build a workflow that works like this. When a support email arrives, n8n extracts the content, sends it to GPT-4 with a prompt that includes your AFU document and your brand voice guidelines, gets back a draft response, and then does one of two things depending on your comfort level. Either it sends the response automatically for common questions, or it drafts the response and puts it in a Google Doc for you to approve with one click. One freelancer I spoke to, a guy named James, who runs a subscription software product, reduced his support time from 15 hours per week to 3 hours per week with this single automation. And his customer satisfaction scores actually went up because responses became faster and more consistent. Welcome to days 21 through 30. This is the advanced phase, and this is where we talk about automation stacking, system thinking, and real numbers. If you've done the work in the first 20 days, you've probably already saved yourself somewhere between 10 and 15 hours per week. Now we're going to talk about how to multiply that impact. The first advanced strategy is what I call the automation cascade. This is where the output of one automation becomes the trigger for another automation, and those systems start to run entire business processes without any human involvement at all. Here's a concrete example with real numbers. Let's say you run a coaching business. Workflow 1 runs every Sunday night and pulls your upcoming week's calendar from Google Calendar. Workflow 2 takes that data and automatically sends personalized prep emails to each client 48 hours before their session, asking them specific questions based on what you worked on last time, pulling that context from a Google Sheet where you log session notes. Workflow 3 monitors your email for their responses and automatically appends those responses to their client profile in Notion. Workflow 4, and this is where it gets powerful, analyzes the responses using AI and creates a brief coaching preparation document for each session and drops it into a folder on your Google Drive. By Monday morning, without you lifting a finger, you have personalized prep materials for every client that week. That cascade of 4 workflows takes maybe 2 hours to build total. It replaces what would otherwise be 4 to 6 hours of admin work every single week. Over a year, that's 200 to 300 hours. The second advanced strategy is to build a business intelligence dashboard automation. Most small business owners have no idea what's actually happening in their business on a week-by-week basis because pulling that data together manually is too tedious to do consistently. With n8n, you can build a workflow that runs every Monday morning, pulls your revenue data from Stripe, your traffic data from Google Analytics, your social media metrics, your email open rates, and your project completion rates, and automatically compiles all of that into a clean weekly report that gets sent to your inbox or posted to a private Slack channel. I know a business owner named Rachel who built this for her agency and said it was the first time in 4 years of running her business that she actually felt like she had visibility into what was working. Within 3 months of having that weekly dashboard, she cut 2 services that were taking 40% of her team's time but generating only 8% of revenue. That one insight surfaced automatically every week, transformed her profitability. The third advanced strategy is to create what I call your automation maintenance system. And this is something almost nobody talks about, but it is critically important. Automations. Break. Office change. Services update. Data format shift. If you build 30 workflows and never check on them, You will slowly have a business that thinks it's running on autopilot, but is actually silently failing in the background. So here's what you do. You build a monitoring workflow in n8n that runs every morning and pings all of your critical workflow endpoints to confirm they're active. Then set up error handling on all of your important workflows so that whenever a node fails, n8n automatically sends you a specific alert telling you exactly which workflow failed and at which step. n8n has a built-in error trigger node for exactly this purpose, and then schedule a 30-minute automation. Audit every month where you review your workflows, check the execution logs, and update anything that needs attention. Businesses that do this maintain 95+% automation reliability. Businesses that don't do this end up with silent failures